the key story that we are now focusing on is the latest that's unfolding in Nepal, where what one is seeing is shifting strategy of Kathmandu. The Prime Minister of Nepal is known to be very close to China, but there's been some movement and some very important developments that have happened there. In fact, China's BRI project could be in a lot of trouble when it comes to Nepal, simply because the Nepalese Prime Minister now is under tremendous pressure to not sign the BRI deal. Why? Because BRI is a loan-based venture. But the Nepalese Prime Minister is under pressure from his government and his coalition partners to only sign grants-based projects. That is, if China gives a grant, then the project will be approved. But if China gives those expensive loans, then it will not be approved. And that's the reason why there's now a lot of tension between Nepalese coalition partners as well as Nepal and China. Now, how does this unfold for India? There is reasons for some discomfort for India. The fact that the current Nepalese Prime Minister is close to China. He's already broken from tradition, decided to go to China ahead of New Delhi. That hasn't happened till now. But, well, there's a lot of churn that's taking place in Nepal and Nepal politics right now. But what India has been able to do in the last 4 years successfully, that is, talk about the BRI pitfalls, is now beginning to bear fruit. And that's exactly what we will be discussing in terms of what lies ahead going forward. Joining me on the broadcast is Ambassador Manjeev Puri, who's been the ambassador to Nepal in the past. And in fact, he joins me on the show right now. In fact, Ambassador Puri, you've been at the forefront of putting out some of these pitfalls of BRI to the intelligentsia and intellectuals, the society and the academicians at large. And one would say some of that is now bearing fruit with the Nepalese Prime Minister under immense pressure from his own government.
Gaurie, thank you very much. And you used an expression, troubled waters. That perhaps I'm not able to say, but certainly it's not smooth sailing. Now, without any doubt, this has something to do with coalition politics. Mr. Oli is actually the junior partner in this coalition. His party has a lesser number of seats than the Nepali Congress in the parliament in Nepal. However, he is the Prime Minister. He would have certainly wanted to go there and sort of redeem a pledge that he made many years back, that he would bring Nepal onto the BRI stream. But the Nepali Congress has been firm. The geopolitics of it, you mentioned India. Let's also not forget the Western world, which also would have used its powers of influence on the Nepalese polity to tell them that, look, think through this. But I want to make another point to you. The Nepalese have been quite careful on the issue of taking loans and kind of pride themselves that while they are open to take grants and donations and so on, they haven't really fallen into a debt trap. Something which has been seen by many other places which have gone in for BRI projects. We know Hambantota in Sri Lanka and so on and so forth. So the BRI is not a smooth sailing in Nepal, which is perfectly fine from our side, from a geopolitical perspective. For the Chinese, it isn't smooth sailing in other parts of the world either. The Italians and several of the Europeans who were looking at the end side of BRI, they've also been saying they're pulling out, etc. So, and the Chinese economy itself is not in a hunky-dory state at the moment, that you simply write off loans, give checks, and so on and so forth. So, look, it's geopolitics. It can't be hunky-dory and all good sailing for the Chinese. They also need to meet.
I would say, Ambassador Puri, I think there's been a lot of awakening in the Nepalese society also after the airport that didn't go as planned. In fact, the Pokhara International Airport was a wake-up call for people in Nepal. But talk to us about the fact that how unstable is the present government. They've been playing musical chairs the last couple of years. In fact, what do you think about the present government, given the fact that it's under a lot of pressure from Nepali Congress, the larger coalition partner, who's actually ensured, so far at least, that Nepal doesn't go and embrace those one-sided BRI loans?
So, Gaurie, the Nepalese have been aware of what it means to interact with the Chinese, but they do it still, despite that. And they've not done it in the past few years. They've done it for many, many decades. That's the nature of Nepal, which considers itself some kind of yam between India and China. And so they believe very strongly that to have reasonable, good relations with China is important for them as a country. We should understand this. The Pokhara airport, the Bhairava airport, those things are clear. They are very well known to everyone. But yet, in the past, Mr. Oli as well as Mr. Prachand have gone ahead with the deals with the Chinese. The
Right.
Nepali Congress has stood firm. That is a very good sign. And it's also a sign of the relationships that we have with them, with the Western world has with them. No doubt about all that at all. But, you're talking about the coalition. Look, these are the two largest parties in the parliament. And usually, you hope that coalitions are one large party, a few small parties get together, and there's a large opposition. This
Yes.
time, the opposition has become very small. Will they stay together? Will they not? They have solid reasons to remain together despite all these ups and downs.
Yes.
Why? Because there's a kind of power sharing. It's between the two of them, not, as they say, the smalls of the world getting a shot.
Yes.
There are three big players in Nepal. Mr. Oli, who leads the Communist Party, Mr. Sher Bahadur Dioba, who leads
Yes.
the Nepali Congress, and Mr. Prachand, who
Yes.
leads Maoist, which is a small group. But Mr. Prachand has invariably found himself becoming
Yes.
Prime Minister, playing on the fears of the larger players. So, difficult to say. Nepal is a place where Ayaram, Gayaram is the order of the day.
Yes.
People have no hesitation in changing sides, breaking each other, etc. In fact, people would say this coalition
Absolutely.
has already lasted 8-9 months. Well, by Nepalese standards, it's time.
Yes, indeed, and that has several implications for New Delhi. In fact, thank you so much, Ambassador Puri, for speaking to me on India Global.